No, not at all.
All right, we are live. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. We've got a great topic to cover today. We're in our series of top Boise communities. We've got a great master plan community in kind of East Boise area that we want to cover. Generally speaking, the topics we'll cover are with a market area expert that I'll introduce you, a guest here in just a minute. We'll be covering the location of the community, which also maps to the commute, to things that you'd want to know, some of the recreation options in the area, as well as the types of homes being built, from condos to townhomes to single family to even some acreage properties, what to expect in the way of lifestyle in the community, and then some amenities, which in this community there are a ton. So with that, I do want to briefly introduce Charlie Wetherington. He's our market expert in Harris Ranch. And Charlie, you've been out there for a couple of years, right?
Yeah, I've been here since July of 19.
July of 19. So you've got plenty of experience in the area and lots to talk about. So we appreciate you coming on today and sharing with us, Charlie. I'll hit a couple of housekeeping options here real quick, and we'll get into the topic. Let's see here. For those of you that I haven't met yet, my name is Jerod Lee. I'm the associate broker and team lead at My Home Connection, also known as MHC Realty. We do have a sponsor for today, and that's our perfect home buying process. We've developed it over the last couple of decades, basically to make the home buying process as simple, as straightforward, and as pleasant as possible. We've introduced primarily podcasts to help answer a lot of questions. We send those out weekly to answer questions from earnest money to what you do at closing, things to consider, do you do inspection. We've got a lot of reports for the data-driven people that want to look into those, community, school, neighborhood reports. We've got almost 100-page relocation and lifestyle guide that we love to share to just help cover a lot of different information about the area. And at the latter part of the podcast here, we'll talk about how to take advantage of the perfect home buying process. Oh, and by the way, we do currently have a special offer, two special offers. One of our lender partners is covering up to $500 on the appraisal for you, and then My Home Connection's covering up to $500 on the home inspection, just to maximize your peace of mind and to minimize your expenses. The topic for today is Harris Ranch. It's a master plan community that's been in the works for a couple of decades now. They've done a really great job. As I mentioned, Charlie will be chatting about the ins and outs, the things to think of, the pros and the cons of the area. But it's just really well located with a lot of recreation, great commute, and really probably at the top of somebody's list if they're looking, in the Boise, specifically the East Boise area. Harris Ranch will definitely be one that you'll look very closely at. So with that, bring Charlie back on. And what did we talk about, Charlie? I think our first topic was going to be location and commute. How's
Yeah,
that been for you
yeah,
as far as experience goes?
it's good. The real advantage of being in Southeast Boise is the amount of traffic here is what most people think of when they think about moving to Idaho. Yes, we have a community. Yes, there is traffic, but it's not like your urban areas. It's more neighborhoodish, and you do have traffic flow, but the commute here, to downtown Boise from here is about a 10 or 12-minute drive. So, if you're going to live out here for the quality of life, for the outdoor quality of life, you're still going to be able to get to downtown, or even get out to Meridian. And say Meridian's probably 22 minutes away.
Yeah, so I just pulled up a map here. Hopefully you're seeing that, Charlie.
Yep.
But we're down here in the Barber Valley is where we're talking about Harris Ranch. So relative to the different things that you would want access to, downtown Boise, where there's a lot of employers. Micron is fairly close to here. Boise Airport is what, 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes, depending on time of day, Charlie?
Yeah, I was just there here last week, and it was 12 minutes to get to the airport.
Gotcha. So let me bring us back onto the maps. Oh, why am I clicking that one again? I just adjusted my overlays. And here we go. There we go. I think that's a little more helpful. What other areas of commute would you want to consider living out in that area, Charlie?
Well, actually, like you said, if you're headed out to Mountain Home, it's literally about 6 minutes to get to the interstate from the Barber Valley. If you're headed up Highway 21, it's to get on Highway 21. It's probably a 4 minute drive from Harris Ranch or from any of the River Heights or any of the subdivisions that are really along Warm Springs. And then, like again, if you're headed west, Jude, it's about, I'm going to say probably 7 minutes to get to Interstate 84.
Okay,
Whether
so
you're headed up to Gowan and headed out that way, or whether you're going to take Federal Road and then hit the interstate up by Broadway.
a lot of the military folks, if they're working out in Mountain Home for the Air Force Base, they would take 84 here. So that's a common commute for people that want to work in Mountain Home but live in the Boise area. You could get there very quickly. Charlie mentioned Idaho City, so if you want to go up and recreate and play, that's just a little ways up north. What, maybe 20, 30 minutes?
It's about 30. Yeah, it's 35 minutes in the winter. Probably 25, 30 minutes in the summer.
In the lake, Lucky Peak, you're not too far from there.
No, and that's for my house. It's about I'm going to say by the time I get to the dock, it's about 15 minutes.
Okay. So everything we're talking about, from commute to work, commute to recreation, to quick getaways, you're, I hate to say perfectly located, but you're really well located for all of that. Is that pretty much a defining trait?
Yeah, and it's just that comfort lifestyle living, that enjoyable outdoor living space, as well as good commute, makes for just good quality of life. And so Southeast Boise is a good place if that's what you're looking for.
Gotcha. Let's see here. Pulled up a little more information about Harris Ranch on their website if you want to get a feel for kind of the aerial view of what Harris Ranch looks like. But this is a massive undertaking from was it Dallas Harris and his family, I believe, originally moved out Oklahoma or something like that, and acquired a bunch of land, and have spent the last 3 or 4 decades kind of planning out what the community would look like. And it's a smart growth is one of the major topics of their development, that they're not just throwing up homes, but it's a community with all the amenities and services and all that within the area. Is that correct?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. So the Harris family, Dallas Harris and his family, farmed and ranched this region and have been smart about developing it, turning the farmland and grazing land into enjoyable living space close to the river. I think that's the thing I enjoy the most, is that we're got the green belt and the river right outside your door. You're basically, if you live in the Harris Ranch area, you're within walking minutes of foothills. There's about 1,200 miles of trails in the foothills. So again, you're based right at the edge of the foothills along the river. So it gives you, and they were smart. They were planned it out well so that a whole bunch of folks can enjoy just that.
So the foothills, I think we're on the recreation topic here. Yeah, there we go. Got a nice segue. So the foothills that you mentioned for recreation, that's bringing a number of things, from hiking, biking. You've got rock climbing not too far from there. I mean, I'll let you speak to kind of what the foothills affords and then what the river brings to the table.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd kind of made a list here of things that makes me happy that I live here. So if I'm outdoorsy, I can hike, I can bike, I can run, walk, float, and hunt, boat and hunt, all from right outside my door. So, for me, it's a 7-minute walk down to the river. If I've got some time in the afternoon and I'm bored, I can simply go down and throw a line in and do a little casting and see if I have any luck. As well as, if I feel a little adventurous, it's just as simple as walking up one of the streets and getting onto a trailhead, and getting into the foothills, and then you can kind of just wander and get lost. So that as well as, of course, summertime, the river's up and running, and of course you can float the river.
So I
So
pulled
it
up
can be an
Marion
afternoon
Park.
function. Yeah.
Yeah. So I pulled up Marion Park here. I would imagine that's probably the most convenient park
Yeah.
adjacent to the river there.
Yeah. Yeah. Marianne Williams Park. It's a great place to gain access right to the green belt and get down to the river. The nice part is it butts right up against Bound Crossing, where you've got food, drink, entertainment, even hospital, even medical care right in Bound Crossing. So yeah, there's a couple fishing ponds that are in the Marianne Williams park that allows for even your younger folks. If you're trying to teach your kids how to fish and you don't want to put them in the river, they've got some ponds there that work really well for that. And so if you're into paddle boarding, it's as easy to slip up to just up to the dam and
Yeah,
go
I
into the
did.
state.
I
You can
did
go
see
into the
a.
state park right there.
Yeah, I did see a some photos for the state park. So you can just drive along Warm Springs here and head up to the dam, which is nice because you got some sandy beach where you could just kind of hang out. But if
Mhm.
you want to, walk, bike ride, or even float the river, you can start here at this park, this Lucky Peak State Park.
Yeah.
Um, but what Charlie was referring to is, yeah, Merriam Park, just a little bit down the river here is just, but walking distance from your house, I would guess.
Yeah, as well as Barber Park, that sits right on the river. That's where you would put your raft in if you were going to float during the summer. We've got Barber Park, um, that has the nature trails as well as the bike path or the green belt. So you've got both. You've got ways to walk it or bike it. If you're walking it, you can get a lot closer to the river.
So this is actually the entrance to on Barber
Mhm.
Park. So there's buses and structures so that you can rent rafts and tubes. And then this is where you would drop in. Actually, I'm surprised there's nobody here because in the summer this is just packed. There's all kinds of
Yeah,
people, dropping into
yeah,
the river here, and they'll go down to what is that, Julia Davis Park, and then pull out. Right, take your tubes out,
yeah,
take your
yeah,
rafts out,
yeah.
and get back on the
And
shuttle bus. Right.
yep, they've got shuttle buses to get you back, and actually, they make it. I think the reason why it's so popular is they just make it really. The city makes it really affordable, and so you can either bring your own and park a car down below, or you can rent and shuttle, or you can bring your own, and if you've parked up by Barber, you can take the shuttle. They make it really easy for you.
Yeah. So these parks are, to Charlie's point, just affording you everything. If you're a fisherman, a rafter, a paddleboarder, a hiker, a biker, a rollerblader, and then there's just a number of things to do up on the foothills. As Charlie mentioned, I'm just trying to get you some photos here to give you some visuals of what the area looks like. But
Yeah, Jerod, I can tell you that on the nature trails along the river from Barber Park down to Bound Crossing, that's a favorite walk of ours. And what's really neat is when you're in the nature trails along the river with all the cottonwoods and all the brush, you forget you're in the city. you forget where you are. It's you're along the river. You hear the water running. You hear the birds. You see all the cranes nesting in the trees, and you forget that you're just yards away from homes.
Mm-hmm.
That's to me that's such a blessing that you don't know what it's like until you've been there. But that's some of the stuff that's offered right here in the Barber Valley.
Yeah, I think just their attention to developing it such that it is a residential community, but yet keeping nature as intact as they can. They've just done a great job. The green belt that parallels the river is super clean. Of course, the communities are just extremely well maintained. But you've got, like you said, literally recreation out your back door and your front door, depending on where you're headed. But yeah, and you're not too far from Bogus Basin as well. So if you want to head up and do some skiing or boarding or summer mountain biking or hiking, let's see here. So you head up to the hill quite often. Is that a 30,
Yeah,
45 minute?
I was up there Monday, and it takes me about 45 minutes door to door. And I've never lived anywhere where I could get my skis on and be skiing in 45 minutes.
And not only
So
day skiing, but night skiing. It's one of our few
yeah.
resorts, ski hills that has night skiing. So if you live in Harris Ranch, work in Boise, have taken your skis board with you, that's going to cut off another 15, 20 minutes, I would guess. And then you can just head up Bogus Basin Road and then you're up at Bogus Basin.
Yeah, one of my favorite summertime events is to kind of go the other direction, and that is head over to Roby's Creek, which is before you get to the reservoir. I can drop into Roby's Creek with my paddleboard or kayak, and I can get out and do a little fishing, and just spend some time in that. You were just put your cursor on that little.
Oh, so this is
that little area right there. I can paddle around there for a couple 3 hours and come home, and I've not given up more than 4 hours of my day.
yeah.
And so, and again, when you get there with all the basalt rims that are around you, and usually during the week it's fairly quiet, and you see a lot of paddle boarders, a lot of kayakers. Weekends you'll see a few more boats coming and going, but it's one of those things like, wow, to live in Southeast Boise and to have access within moments. I mean, Roby's Creek is 20 minutes for me.
Yeah, and I would say if you're trying to get away from people a little bit, that'd be the direction I'd go, is head up 21. There is a lot to do in the river here, and you could certainly do the paddle boarding and whatnot.
Yeah.
But obviously, that's walking distance for a lot of people, where Roby Creek might be worth the drive. And it's just kind of tucked away back in here, even off the lake a little bit, where you're going to get your boats and some more rougher waters. But this is tucked away, and it's really well kind of insulated from the wind and whatnot, because it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for, Charlie? It's inset quite a bit.
You can feel like you're someplace else, like for so many places I've lived in the past. It's 2 or 3, 4 hours to get somewhere, where here you can enjoy yourself and feel like you're in a different place. You've relocated for a few hours and stepped away from all the stuff that that you're looking to get away from for a while. But it's so much easier to do.
Yeah. Well, I think that covers quite a bit of recreation. The next topic, I want to talk about. Let's chat a little bit about lifestyle a little more, because it's pretty connected with the recreation and the location. Let me go back here. So, clearly, commute to work, how long that's going to take you, access to recreation as part of lifestyle, but food as well. So, and food and services and all that, I think, would add to that lifestyle.
And to kind of tie recreation in. One of our favorite things to do, especially spring, summer, and fall, is grab our bikes, jump on the green belt, and head out for a bite to eat. Maybe spend 3 or 4 hours out on the green belt. Some of us ride clear down to Garden City, and then we'll ride one side of the river down to Garden City. We'll stop, have a bite to eat, turn around and ride back. And we've managed to put on maybe 16, 17 miles on our bicycles. But just here locally in the Barber Valley, right outside my door here, very centrally located, I think it's 2 blocks from me, is Lucky 13, a great place that's got, a wide variety of American foods, pizzas, sandwiches, adult beverages, and it's got an outdoor feel for family, so kids can be out and about. And just a moment away is just down in Bound Crossing. Gosh, there's a wide variety of everything from Asian cuisine, flatbreads, pizzas, American cuisines. I think the tavern at Bound Crossing, which I think there's several taverns across the valley, but good variety of food choices in the area, with the promise of some more as we continue to build in the area. But Bound Crossing is one of these kind of drive up. It almost feels like you're, how do you want to say, it's like outdoor shopping.
So
Some
Bound
like
Crossing is going to be just up the river here a little bit.
Yeah, it's right on Park Center, right. It's really what divides at Bound Crossing. Then once you're coming east on Park Center, when you get to Bound Crossing, that really divides the Barber Valley.
Yeah, let's see. Am I in? I'm in the right area, correct, for Bowen?
Um,
So Park Center.
Chicken. Yeah, there's Bagley Park. So just keep scroll a little bit more to the opposite direction.
Oh, the
There you go. There you go. So right
oh,
where
here
the
we go.
river,
Okay.
here it is, right there. Yeah. So Tavern at Bound Crossing. We've got Idaho Fry Company, or the Boise Fry Company. There's a ramen place. There's a really neat kind of tequila Mexican dish bar there that's opened up here recently. And then Barbacoa is not far down the street, which is a little more high-end fine dining. But again, it puts you at Bound Crossing. You're about halfway between the Harris Ranch area and downtown, so it's kind of that split point.
I'm just showing flatbread here before I head over to
Yeah.
Bowen. That's another popular one. Flatbread, BFC,
Hmm.
like you said, Boise Fry Co. There's a lot of restaurants right here in
Hmm.
Bowen.
Yes, and as far as lifestyle, if you'll notice right there, there's St. Alphonsus Medical
Hmm.
right there. So for those of us that live in this area that would prefer to drive less, we can bike to all of this. It's a 3 mile bike ride to Bound Crossing from where I live. And if it's not chilly or windy out, it's a really comfortable ride. And so for us to make our dentist appointments, our doctor appointments, go out for a bite to eat, we can parallel the river back and forth to Bound Crossing, or we can follow the more of the road structure, just depending on which way we'd like to go. And it's all, so for me, that's all about lifestyle and what it offers. So good food, decent medical facilities, everything from, I think Osterkamp Dental is right there at Bound Crossing. In my neighborhood, right here in Mill District, we have another dentist that's right here by Lucky 13. There's hair care or salon right here. So in building that community, they've tried to integrate and bring in the things that we use on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, and it keeps us from having to travel and be on the roads as much, right? So
Yeah, which
lower,
is a goal or objective, for the roadways to
yeah,
create these services and keep people walking or biking to where they need to go. The one thing I would comment on here is this is so close to the beginning of the Boise River and the Greenbelt, that it's important to know that there's about 25, 26 miles of this Boise River greenbelt that starts up at Lucky Peak, where I just showed you, and then
Correct.
traverses down through here. And to Charlie's point about food and everything, if you're on an e-bike especially, you could go all the way. I mean, we've got restaurants all the way through Garden City, like you mentioned, all the way to Eagle. So take your pick, especially if on an e-bike, because you can enjoy your ride, half hour, whatever you want, jump out, grab some food in whatever area of town that you're in, and jump back in and head home.
Well, and Jerod, that's a great point. And I have to confess, I went from a traditional bike to an e-bike, and it has increased. It has increased my bike riding by 4 times. So
I bet.
there's some advantages to e-bike, and again, it for people, say in your mid 50s and on up, and you're worrying about, well, what's my distance? Am I going to wear myself out? The city offers the green belt for us to get out, and we're able to check out so many places. We ride downtown and we bike over to the Capitol,
Yeah.
and we'll take our friends that come into town. We'll get bikes and we'll go downtown and we'll check out the Capitol, and be able to come home. And yeah, the e-bike makes it easier, but Boise and Southeast Boise is very bike friendly, so that's part of that quality of life.
I did bring up
Well,
Lucky 13.
yeah, you're making me hungry. Show me.
Well, I think it's important because when people talk about Harris Ranch, for whatever reason, Lucky 13 is often one of the first. I guess we all think about food pretty quickly, so that makes it easy. But I did want to show, because Lucky 13 was down in North Boise and relocated over to Harris Ranch, and I think that was a big draw for North Boise was Lucky 13 pizza. So I just wanted to give you a feel for what that looked like. But my guess is if you're in Harris Ranch, you're probably gonna at some point hit Lucky 13.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll say this: they're finishing buildings, finishing up the condos over in the Harris Ranch, the Dallas Harris Ranch area, and they have built a new. We're talking, so we'll talk a little bit about schools. We've got East Junior High right here on Warm Springs, and it's literally a 3 block walk from my house here in Mill District, to East Junior High. We've got a brand new grade school that sits right here in the Harris Ranch proper. And then we've got, of course, what's the school? The high school is Timberline, which is about 2 mile drive. So from the Harris Ranch area. So good schools in the area, along with new grade schools. So now there's 2 grade schools here, which is telling me that when you're building more grade schools, it says that you have more younger people moving in with kids. And that school's now open. With that, they're going to be doing some more dining options and some commercial business options right there in that section of Harris Ranch. So again, it's just that'll pretty much finish the build out here in the Barber Valley. But with that, again, many good food choices, many good options to get out.
I would imagine I haven't been to Coffee Mill, but imagine that's pretty
Yeah,
packed.
right across the street from Lucky 13. So, and again, no matter where you're living here, you're not more than maybe 10 minutes from food and drink.
Good food and drink, by the way.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So this whole area here, this is kind of the commercial hub, right? As far as like food and convenience store and
Yeah, right there at Eckerd and Warm Springs kind of is for the community for Mill District, Spring Creek, Harris North. That's really kind of the central hub of commercial stuff. There's gas station, you're able to, convenience store. And then we've got, again, just to the east of us is Shakespeare in the Park.
I did just pull
It
that
board,
up.
it, yeah, it borders the subdivision.
Yeah, I am glad we didn't miss that because that's definitely a draw. Just to give you an idea of yet more that's in this area
Mhm.
and kind of
Mhm.
what.
And it's all, and it literally from my house, I can, if we want to go to Shakespeare in the Park, we can walk over and then walk back in the evening. And, it's like 6, 8 blocks.
Amazing. Amazing. So speaking of not missing anything, as it relates to lifestyle, is there any other area or
Well,
destination?
and I think you've covered this in other shows, but being in southeast Boise, you've got the botanical gardens, the old penitentiary, um, some of those that are a little bit more over on the Warm Springs roadside.
Just down the road from you, like
Yeah, so
five, ten
those are
minutes
all
maybe?
things. Yeah, driving is 10 minutes. Biking it's probably 30 to get to the old penitentiary, to get over to the botanical gardens. And then, of course, we've got Bowler Park in Surprise Valley. We've got Barber Park right on the river. Alta Harris Park is going to be right next to Barber Park here in the next year or so. And pickleball courts are going in, and tennis courts. So there's just a lot of opportunities to get outside, do something, have fun. They're going to have soccer practice fields as well as pickleball courts here at the Alta Harris Park.
Let me pop that up. Sorry to interrupt you there, Charlie, but I did want to show the botanical gardens that you mentioned real quick
Yeah.
because this is a must see as well, and this is right over by the old penitentiary. Literally, that's the old pen
Hmm.
right behind it, and
Yeah.
you can. I would absolutely recommend hiking Table Rock from here.
Hmm.
That's an amazing hike. But now let me go back to the area that you were just talking about, Charlie. Refresh my memory so I can make sure get some photos
Oh,
of
we're
that.
talking about Alta Harris Park and Barber Park. Those Bowler's the newest park, and that sits in Surprise Valley.
Oh yeah, we're talking yeah a little bit ways away.
Yeah, and
Well,
I mean, that's not even actually Bowler's probably a mile. Well, it's about a half a mile from Barber Park.
yeah, pretty close to
Just
here.
it's just sits on the south side of the river.
So we have a ton of parks pretty much across the
Hmm.
valley, but I would say you guys benefit from some pretty high density, quick access to a lot of the parks, and they're all super well done in my experience.
Yeah.
Well thought out, clean, lots of amenities. Let me. So I know we're getting a little long here. We're half an hour in. We're trying to keep them 30, 40 minutes long, but let's go to make sure we're staying on point from our topics. Product. So, well, let's actually put amenities beforehand about the Harris Ranch amenities immediately within, and you comment on some of these. Let's see, community
Well, I
infrastructure.
can't tell you that the Spring Creek and Harris Ranch uh, subdivisions, as well as the Mill District, all have their clubhouses, pools, all. And what I really like about them is they centrally locate their community use activities like the pools and the clubhouses, so that no matter where you live in the community, you don't have to drive. You can load the kids up, load their swim stuff up in the wagon, and you can tote it over. You don't have to drive. And our communities use those. All the folks in our communities use those quite a bit. I sit on the board in the Harris Ranch Owners Association, and the activities we see, people enjoy using them. So they're each of the communities. Harris North has their own pool, and so again, the communities are built to where the communities can come together in those where there's pools, clubhouses.
I was thinking there was a breakdown of all that, but I don't know where it went. Community infrastructure. Anyway, I won't fumble around too much for it, but I was thinking that we had some photos specifically talking about the things that you were mentioning. But oh, you know what that might be. So there's a planning map. Ah, here we go. I think maybe this is. Ah, here we go. I knew it was somewhere up here. Some photos of the pool, clubhouse,
Mm-hmm.
fitness center.
And the gym, yeah, the fitness center. And again, the nice part, like with Spring Creek and Mill District, we can use either or. So it's not like, so my badge gets me in one place or the other. So if one place is really crowded or full, and I want to go someplace where it's a little quieter, I can just cross the street.
In your
And
experience, the HOAs that are fees that are associated to this. One, the fees, and then two, kind of how they maintain it. You're on the board, you said?
Yeah. And
Okay.
yeah, and our fees here, as being in the real estate business, looking at a lot of different areas, helping people buy homes and doing the research and seeing what costs are, the fees here are, $1,000 a year.
Wow. That sounds, for the
And
amenities that you have, that's pretty inexpensive.
yeah, for a full fitness room, a full pool between Mother's Day or Memorial Day and Labor Day, maintaining all of that, having the facilities and having large enough clubhouses where people can have family gatherings, retirement parties, those types of things, and enjoy it. And the facilities are adequate. Yeah, that's I would call that well managed and a good bargain.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and if you're on the board, people are getting well taken care of. By the way, that's a good point. I want to put in a plug here for Charlie. As the market area expert and just super knowledgeable about the whole Treasure Valley here, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And as I mentioned earlier, Charlie is on the MHC, the My Home Connection team, and he's got a servant's heart to take care of you and or your family or your friends, whoever you might refer business to. So Charlie's awesome. I'll vouch for him, I guess, is my point.
Well, Jerod, that's very kind of you, and I appreciate it. I do want to say that I'm very proud of our sponsor and the offers that are there for buyers and sellers. Gosh, there's not too many times that people find this perfect home buying process and have these opportunities for, getting your appraisals paid for and home inspections paid for. So all I can say is I really appreciate that as an offer and the work that goes into that supports all of us.
Yeah, thanks for that, Charlie. We really try to develop a platform where people can just kind of jump on and know they're being taken care of and get valuable, useful tools, timely tools. So I appreciate that. Let's talk. I think the last topic here is kind of what you're looking at in the way of homes in that area. So let's take a look. Just some photos here of so each area is kind of broken down with different types of product, right, Charlie? Like smaller lot
Yeah.
homes,
Yep.
townhomes,
Yep.
condos.
Yeah. Now your pictures there is of Harris North, sits up on the bluff, looks over the city. These are, and again, the quality of build is all the same within all the subdivisions. There's just bigger homes, and then some of these have just higher end finishes in them. But you're talking quality built homes, Brighton homes that come with the base. The base model comes with high end finishes, and then you can step it up to high end appliances, custom work. But again, it's like you'll take Harris North and Harris, some of Harris Ranch. The homes are are have up to quarter acre lots. A lot of the other areas like Mill District Square were all zero lot lines. So your 0.1 to 0.08 lots with a side yard. Mill District itself, it has bigger side yards, but has that same model. And between Mill District Square, you're looking at homes that are all backloaded for garages. So you have carriageways or paved alleys,
Yeah.
and so your neighborhood feel is as you drive through. There's no front driveways. There's just homes and sidewalks and boulevards and tree-lined streets. And I think my favorite part about that is that as the trees mature and you've got trees on both sides of the streets, they end up building a canopy that in the summertime when you're walking, if you're under the canopy, it's 10 degrees cooler.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to
And,
pull
and
up.
so it
Okay.
creates that neighborhood feel.
Yeah, and just creates maturity, and of course, the colors, the change of colors on the leaves in the area in the fall here is just amazing. Um, I did want to bring up some of these costs, values of homes. You'll see some on the lower end of price points. These are your condos. your smaller, what we call smaller product. And then of course you get more of your single family stuff, and then you get into more some of these kind of estate homes. So there's a good mix here, is what I'm saying. There's
Yeah.
apartments if you want to rent and make sure that you love the area, but there's a luxury apartment complex just completed not too long ago. Is that right?
Just completed. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you want to do apartments and or you want to do kind of no maintenance stuff and condo works for you, or you want a townhouse with lesser maintenance, or kind of like Charlie said, a little larger lots with some space and some elbow room, or you got some of these north of $1 million homes as well. To give you an idea,
Yeah. There's a little bit of something for everybody, and it's all good quality product. The most all the product here is 2000, the year 2000 or newer, with probably 50% of it 2015 and newer. So a lot of newer product, so newer designs, but everything well built.
yeah. I did want to show everybody kind of what to expect in the way of pricing here. This will give you a graph, shows you the bottom line here is the average across the U.S. And then this line here is the average for the Boise area, which, as you can tell, we used to be an extremely good value. If you go back further, we were below the national average, and we've just been climbing over time because we're no longer a secret. Specifically here at Harris Ranch, you get an idea of what's going on here. Back to Charlie's point, the age of the homes, the quality, the finish level, the builders, your price point is typically going to be higher than the rest of the Treasure Valley here. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to add on top of that.
Yeah, and the way they've built their communities, you don't have just linear east, west, north, south streets with lots of front driveways. You've got a mix of home builds with back-loaded, front-loaded, and then streets are curved and built in such that you don't see these long linear lines. So it's just a more comfortable feel. Mm-hmm. And somebody put some thought into that, And
so these are higher density.
Yeah, as you get into Mill District and Mill District Square, if you pull that part of the map up, you'll see how the subdivision was actually built in like circles. So as you come in, you come in, and then your homes are all on. So go pull it the other direction.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. So you're almost there.
Oh, coffee mill. There you go. Oh, Mill District.
Yeah.
Here. Let's see here.
So yeah, just pull up a little bit. Just pull the map up just a little bit. And so there's that's Eckerd.
Come up here. Here you go.
So put your cursor right where that red spot is, that red dot, and then pull the map up, and then expand it a little bit, and you'll see. Okay, right in that lower left-hand corner. There you go. You'll see how all those streets, how that's built, kind of circular.
Yeah.
That's a very neat way of building homes. You just don't have those straight lines, and you get that feel like as you're looking, you don't see as far. Mm-hmm. You feel like even when you're walking, you feel like you're just seeing something new, something different as you look those curves.
I was hoping we could get like a 360 panorama here to kind of show that area, but I think this one, and then the other one, the first one that came up. Oh, wait a minute. This one. There we go. There we go. This is just on the north end of the Mill District?
Yeah, that's Warm Springs looking. So you're looking west there.
And then
on
east.
Warm Springs. That's looking south.
Yeah, but it gives you an idea of nice tree-lined streets.
And the city was good working with the developers to pick the trees that went in on the boulevards to create a sense of color, sense of design. Some trees get a little taller than others. Some live longer than others, but they've done a really good job as I look through the CCNRs and what trees were allowed, and then what was chosen by city. Any of your trees on the boulevards are all ACHD planted,
Okay. Keep
and
that
then
maintained.
the homeowner owns the tree or has to manage it. But if it dies, they'll come and cut it down and replace it. But it's a way of keeping a consistent kind of tree or pattern of trees that work well in the area. So somebody did a lot of work to make sure that the quality of the neighborhood stays as it is.
Mm-hmm. Here's your bike score, your transit score. Got some home ownership versus rent. Obviously, strong ownership.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we also have the terraces right here next to the Mill District, which is a what do you call it, senior living,
and they have
and
memory care, and
they do. They have the full suite. You can sell your home, buy a place there, move in, live independently, park your car, drive in and out, do what you want, and you can transition from one end of the facility clean to the other. And for a lot of folks, that's nice because one person ages a little quicker than the other, and you have the care that's there, but you're still close. And it's a great facility. I haven't been there in a couple of years. I haven't been over there in a couple of years, but high quality build, nice area. And again, they have some independent living where there's homes. There's also apartments. It's all independent living. And then you can get some assisted care and just kind of transition if you need to. But that's so nice for and then just on the other direction, we have daycares. so
womb to tomb.
We've got it all right
Yeah.
here, walking distance.
That's awesome. But for people that have folks that are relocating into the area, want to be around their kids, their grandkids, but they're a little later on moving into the terraces for people that live either in Harris Ranch or in the Barber area. That's a great scenario. So again, if your parents are there and you have kids, you can put them in daycare, and your parents, at the terraces.
Yeah.
Well, excellent.
Yeah. By the way, Jerod, just recently, a new, what do I say, disabled athletes in a veterans facility was just finished right there in Bound Crossing, and it's a nice area. It's a nice facility for para athletes as well as veterans. Mm-hmm. And they're working together. Both of them are working. The veterans and the para athletes are working together in this facility, and it's something that Mission 43 has gotten involved with in the Albertsons Foundation. So, and a really neat community there, helping people manage life skills and get back on track and find sanctity of life. But
yeah, I didn't know that. That's great. That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. I was just pulling up a little more about Boise River because I was looking for some better photos that actually showed people on the river. But yeah, Charlie, we've gone long just because there's a lot to talk about Harris Ranch. So let me just go through what I promised earlier and letting people know how to take advantage of the perfect home buying process. It's super simple. You can just comment below if you're on YouTube or any other social media platform that you're viewing this on, and or you could go to our site, and we've got our contact information, myhomeconnection.com, obviously, and we've got our email and phone number up at the top right. Just reference the perfect home buying program, and we'll set up either a workshop, kind of a group format, or an individual consultation. There's no obligation or cost associated to that. But I do also want to point out the relocation guide. You can download that on our site as well, on the homepage and other areas, and then see other areas of the valley. But I did want to let folks know how to take advantage of the offers that we have. But let me see here. There we are. Yeah, but other than that, Charlie, we just again got to thank you for coming
Hey,
on, letting the audience know um, just everything that Harris Ranch has to offer.
yeah, and Jared, for those that have an interest, I'd encourage you to jump on My Home Connections, find my profile, give me a shot. I'd be glad to take you around. We can spend a day just driving around, looking at what's here, talking about the properties that are available and the product that's available, whether it's for you or not. But I'd be glad to do that.
Yeah, awesome. And like I said, Charlie will take really great care of you. But other than that, thanks again, Charlie, and I'll wish everybody a blessed one.
Thank you, Jared.
You're welcome.